and welcome to This Old Town. I'm your host, Lisa Tucker, and as you know, we travel from town to town. This week, we find ourselves in Washington County, Utah. There are many, many small towns in this area. Today, we will be visiting Harrisburg and Silver Reef, and if time permits, maybe we'll be able to stop at a few others. But for right now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the tour. Welcome to Harrisburg. We're standing in front of the old Harris homestead. In 1859, Moses Harris, who helped settle San Bernardino, California, led a band of Mormon settlers into the area where Quail Creek met the Virgin River. The town was originally called Cottonwood and then was changed to Harrisville. In 1866, on the advice of Brigham Young, the name of the town was changed to Harrisburg, and that's what it's been called ever since. The town in its heyday had up to 60 children in the school, and it had about 200 families. There was a big flood, and the town sort of emptied out. After that, in 1892, the town was down to 6 families, and by 1910, there were no families. All that's left is pretty much this building, a lot of stone fence, and maybe some other stone buildings, but that's it. This town of Harrisburg is a ghost town. But let's see if what we can see that remains of the town. Look at how these stones are perfectly laid together. Each stone matches. After the fireplace was put in, then they did the roof, and the roof consists of wood logs. Maybe we can pan inside and see what this house looks like, and if there is anything that we could discern what the rooms are. There are 2 fireplaces in this house, and as you probably know, in the olden days, fire was the only way to heat a home, so the 2 fireplaces probably did an excellent job here. What we're looking at on the to my left is probably what was the living quarters, and maybe to the right was where the bedroom or maybe the kitchen. I'm not really sure. It looks like a 2-room house because there's a wall in between, and I'm sure that this was a very luxurious home in its day, being that it did belong to Moses Harris. What we're looking at here appears to be the porch area. There's a doorway leading out, and so probably what they did was they came out here, sat out here, enjoyed the view of the mountains, and it was probably just a place for them to relax and enjoy themselves after a hard day of work. Right behind this homestead is a huge campground right now where RVers and people who come on vacation come and spend a couple of weeks and enjoy themselves in this nice warm climate. Not much left of this old building. There are a few foundations left standing here, but that's about all. And then we have this rock fence that stretches all the way down, probably to the creek area. It is amazing that this fence is this big. I see some buildings up on the hill. Let's see if we can get to them. house that we viewed from down below, this is the Adams home. From 1864 until the early 1890s, Orson Adams and his wife lived in this home. It was built by William G. McMillan, a master stonemason, and he constructed this house and many of the other residences in Harrisburg between 1863 and 1865. After Orson Adams' death, the property changed ownership several times, eventually being purchased by William Emmett in 1910. Mr. Emmett and his wife and all his children lived in this house for many, many years. After Mr. Emmett's death in 1944, the house was vacated. Since that time, the structure has suffered from the effects of neglect and vandalism. In 2001, the land and structures remaining from the abandoned Harrisburg town site were transferred to the Bureau of Land Management to protect the natural and cultural values of the site. Over the next few months, repair work will begin on the roof, foundation, and walls of the Adams house. All of the work will be restored, and it will be eligible to become among the listing of the National Register of Historic Places. What a view. It's magnificent. This is known as the Red Cliffs. They even built the rock wall on this hill. It was probably used as some type of protection, security, to be looking out for Indians possibly climbing up on the ledge and over, that they'd be able to have a little more time before the attack came. This is another old historic house, pretty similar to the other one. This one even has what looks like a basement, and it probably looks like they wanted some kind of escape route out of here. Well, we're done with the town of Harrisburg. You saw what was there, just a bunch of little old buildings left. It's just a ghost town now. And now we're going to go drive up the road and see what else we can see. This sign says Leeds Historic CCC Camp, Civilian Conservation Corps, 1933 to 1942. Let's go see what this is. In the Depression year of 1933, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt initiated the Civilian Conservation Corps. This program provided much-needed employment for the nation's youth. It was instrumental in preserving and protecting our forests, waterways, and other natural resources. This is the small town of Leeds. This is about the oldest building that we found in this town. It's probably just somebody's home. It's funny that there are bars here. I wonder if this could have been an old jail or something. Well, this is the old town hall. There's even a mail slot here, so maybe this is the post office too. Well, not much in Leeds. The next town we're coming upon is Silver Reef. Welcome to Silver Reef. There are many stories of how Silver Reef came to be. One of them is that a visitor to Leeds one night was at a home and he saw melted silver oozing from a hot mantel stove over his host's fireplace. But the most fabled one is about an assayer from Piache, Nevada, who always found metal ore in samples that were submitted to him. One day, as a joke, there was a grindstone that was taken apart, and they brought this to this assayer whose name was Metalliferous Murphy. Well, Metalliferous, as I said, always found stuff in the ore, and he found silver in this ore, and it was assayed at $200 per ounce per ton. John Kemble was credited with discovering the reef in 1869. About 7 years later, William Barbie found some ore right near Mr. Kemble's claim. He established a town called Bonanza City. A little while after that, a gentleman by the name of Hiram Jacobs came to town and wanted to build a store in Bonanza City, but he didn't want to pay the high prices that Mr. Barbie was asking for a business lot. So he went a mile down the road and built his store in what is now Silver Reef. In its heyday, the town of Silver Reef had 33 mining claims filed. There was a great Chinese population here as well, and the Chinese practiced their ancient tradition of taking food to the cemeteries where their people were buried. This was great news to the Paiute Indians, who developed a taste for Chinese cooking as they would come down from the mountains and pick up the food that the Chinese people left at the graves. Today, all that's left in Silver Reef is the Wells Fargo Bank, a few houses, and the ruins of several others. This is the site of the Elkhorn Saloon. Here's an old foundation. This is all that's left. A couple of more foundations. And this must be the heart of the town. Here we are on Main and Center Street. There's a foundation clear in the distance. This is the old Wells Fargo building. It was built in 1877, and now it's used as a museum and an art gallery. Here's the safe. Here's another one. Looks like somebody's blown this one open. This is the Barbie Walker mine. Mr. Barbie was bankrolled by some engineers in Salt Lake City, and they decided to pull back their money from him because they said that you could not get silver out of sandstone. These are some old flat irons. Can you imagine having to heat these up and then ironing your clothes with them? I can't even lift this one. This is a picture of John Kemble. He is credited with the discovery of silver here at Silver Reef in 1869. This is a detonator used at Silver Reef. Here's a replica of the town of Silver Reef. They had different people who had different jobs in the mines. They had the blasters, they had the guys who dug the holes for the blasters, and what the blasters would do, they'd put the dynamite into the holes, and then the mine would blow and the ore would go on the ground, and then the muckers would shovel the ore into these ore carts and then take them out of the mines. An old foundation that's here. There's no markings on it, but I believe that this might be the old Chinese laundry. There's a couple of foundations clear over there. Here's what's left of one of the old mines up here. Up on top of the reef looking down, we can see some old tailings from some of the old mines. What is behind me basically is the foundations for the headerwork for the really big deep shaft mine. And here is a really deep shaft mine. It's a good thing it's all cemented and blocked off, because somebody could really get hurt over here. No idea how deep this really is. Let's test it. To me, it just sounds like it goes on forever. The other side of the reef, you can see some old tailings and probably some more old mine shafts. Here we are at the Catholic Pioneer Cemetery. Lots of unknowns here. Well, those were quite the interesting towns that we just visited. And just like any other old towns, when the mines played out, the towns became ghost towns. The scenery here is still beautiful though, and I hope you've enjoyed our visit to these little ghost towns. So until next time, when the old town that we visit might be yours, I'm Lisa, and I'm out of here.
Load up the truck, it's time to roll. With hearts so wild and a common goal. Chasing the goal, we're ready for the thrill. Through mountains and rivers, we'll climb every hill. With the sun on our backs, we take our stand, uncovering treasures buried in this land. This gold fever's got us running wild. In the heart of the land, we feel like a child. Adventures await in the great unknown. Together we chase dreams never alone. Metal detectors singing in the breeze, we dig for the fortune, uncovering keys. With a gold pan in hand, we sift through the dirt. Each little glimmer makes our hearts surge. By the firelight's glow, while laughter rings, as we dream of the riches tomorrow brings. Gold fever's got us running.
The gold mine.
I got you.
Adventures await in the great unknown. Together we chase dreams.
Oh, ain't that cool? Is this like the I was gonna say something bad.
Wait a
That
minute.
don't work.
Is that better?
There you go. That's good.
Our laughter rings as we dream of the riches tomorrow brings. This gold fever's got us running wild. In the heart of the land, we feel like a child. Adventures await in the great unknown. Together we chase dreams never alone. So here's to the nights beneath the stars. With our hearts full of dreams, we'll go far. This gold fever's got us running wild. In the heart of the land, we feel like a child. Adventures await in the great unknown. Together we chase dreams never alone. Alone. So here's to the nights beneath the stars. With our hearts full of dreams, we'll go far.